Therapadana. The Legends of the Theras. Sobhita Chapter the 14th. 131. Sobhita. The victor Pajamuttara, the world's best one, the bull of men, before a large body of folks, did preach the path of deathlessness. Then having listened to his words, those majestic words he uttered, pressing both my hands together, I became tranquil at that time, as the great ocean is, the foremost of the seas, and the rock-heap Meru, is the best of mountains. Likewise those people who are controlled by the heart, approach not a tittle of the Buddha's knowledge. The Buddha, compassionate sage, setting forth the Dhamma method, seated in the monks' assembly, uttered this verse about me then. He who praises knowledge like this, when the Buddha world leader lives, for 100,000 eons, will come to know no bad rebirth. Having destroyed the defilements, tranquil and well attentive, he'll be the teacher's follower, known by the name of Sobhita. I have burnt up my defilements, all new existence is destroyed, the threefold knowing is attained. I have done what the Buddha taught. In the 50,000th aeon, there were 7 Samagatas, will turning kings with great power, possessors of the 7 gems, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Sobhita Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Sobhita Thera is finished. 132. Sudassana. On the Vitata river's bank, there was a fig tree bearing fruit. While I was searching for that tree, I saw the leader of the world. Seeing a pandanus in bloom, after having cut off a stalk, I gifted it to the Buddha. Seek ye the kinsman of the world. Whatever knowledge you've attained, of the eternal, deathless state, I sing that knowledge's praises. O best Buddha, O sage so great, doing puja thus for knowledge. I then saw the fruiting fig tree. I have obtained that perception. That's the fruit of knowledge puja. In the 31 eons since I offered that flower to him, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of knowledge puja. In the 13th aeon ago, there were 12 named Phalugata, will turning kings with great power, possessors of the 7 gems, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Sudassana Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Sudassana Thera is finished. 133. Candanapujaka. On Candabaga river's bank. I was a Kanara back then. I lived on flowers as my food, and dressed in clothes made of flowers. But Atthasandassaka, blessed one, the world's best one, the bull of men, departed through the forest's roof, like a swan king flies through the air. Praise to you, O well-bred person. Your heart is so well purified. Your complexion shows your pleasure. Your face shows your senses are clear. The wise one, great intelligence, having descended from the sky, and spreading out his upper robe, sat on it, legs crossed together. Carrying some sandalwood oil, I went to the victor's presence. Happy with pleasure in my heart, I gave that oil to the Buddha. Having worshipped the Sambuddha, the world's best one, the bull of men, experiencing great delight, I departed facing the north. In the 1800 eons, since I did sandalwood puja, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of Buddha puja. In the 14th aeon ago, there were 3 people who lived then, all known by the name Rohii, will turning kings with great power, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Candanapujaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Candanapujaka Thera is finished. 134. Puppachadaniya. The Brahmin known as Sunanda, who was a master of the mantras, a learned man, fit for begging, sacrificed a Vajapaya, Pajamuttara world knower, the top, compassionate, the sage, having pity for the people, walked back and forth across the sky. Having walked thus, the Sambuddha, omniscient one, the world leader, desireless one, with love for them, then thrilled uncountable beings, breaking off a stem of flowers, that Brahmin master of mantras, assembling all of his students, threw them right up into the sky. There was a floral canopy over the whole city then. Through the power of the Buddha, they were there an entire week. By means of just those wholesome roots, experiencing happiness, knowing well all the defilements, I've crossed over worldly ties. In the 11th aeon hence, there were 35 different kings, known Amber Sasama, will turning kings with great power, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Puppachadaniya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Puppachadaniya Thera is finished. 135. Rahosanna. Close to the Himalayan range, there is a mountain called Vasabha. My ashram is made very well. There, at the foot of that mountain, for 3,000 years that Brahmin uttered his teachings at that time. Drawing the students together, he dwelt there sitting to one side, the Brahmin master of mantras, while sitting there off to one side, searching the Buddha's knowledge, pleased his heart over knowledge then. After pleasing my heart there, I sat on a mat made of leaves. Getting into lotus posture, I passed away right on the spot. In the 31 eons since I obtained that perception then, I've come to know no bad rebirth, the fruit of perceiving knowledge. In the 27th aeon, there was a king Siddhara, a wheel-turner with great power, possessor of the 7 gems, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Rahosanna Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Rahosanna Thera is finished.
136. Campakapupphiya.
I saw Buddha, the morning star, shining like a dinner plate tree, sitting down within a mountain, surveying all the directions. There were 3 young Brahmin men then, well trained in their own Brahmin arts, taking ascetics provisions. They were coming up behind me. In a bag were 7 flowers. Those ascetics had laid down there. Having picked them up I gave them, for the knowledge of Vesabu. In the 31 eons since I offered those flowers to it, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of knowledge puja. In the 29th aeon hence, a king known as Vihataba was a wheel-turner with great strength, possessor of the 7 gems, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Campakapupphiya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Campakapupphiya Thera is finished. 137. Atthasandassaka. Sitting in a large, peaked building, I saw the leader of the world, undefiled, possessing power, honored by the monks' assembly, who is not pleased after seeing, alack with the 3-fold knowledge, special knowledges, superpowers, all surrounding the Sambuddha, who is not pleased after seeing, Sambuddha with boundless knowledge, to whom none comes close in knowledge, in this world with its gods and men, who is not pleased after seeing, him the whole one, the mine of gems, explaining the Dhamma body, which no one can ever injure, Narada Saragakya, by saying these 3 verses then, praised Buddha Pajamuttara, the unconquered, the Sambuddha, due to that pleasure in my heart, and my praising of the Buddha, for 100,000 eons, I've come to know no bad rebirth. In the 30th aeon hence, the Kshatriyan named Sukhita was a wheel-turner with great strength, possessor of the 7 gems, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Atthasandassaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Atthasandassaka Thera is finished. 138. Ekapasadaniya. Although my name was Narada, I was known then as Kesva. Seeking after both good and bad, I came into Buddha's presence. Loving-hearted, compassionate, Attadasi, the sage so great, consoling all the world's beings, the Eiffel One preached his Dhamma. Having brought my own heart pleasure, pressing both my hands on my head, after I'd worshipped the teacher, I departed facing the east. In the 1700th aeon, I was king, ruler of the earth, known as Atthasandassaka, a wheel-turner with great power, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Ekapasadaniya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Ekapasadaniya Thera is finished. 139. Salapupphadāyaka. I was the king of beasts back then, a wild lion who was fearless. While hunting in a mountain crag, I saw the leader of the world. This one would be the great hero. He will liberate many folks. Well then oughtn't I approach the God of gods, the bull among men. Breaking a branch of a sal tree, I carried it, flowers and buds. Having approached the Sambuddha, I gave him those superb flowers. In the 91 eons since, I offered those flowers to him. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of flower puja. And in the 9th aeon ago, there were 3 different kings back then, known by the name Virakana, will-turning monarchs with great strength. The 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Salapupphadāyaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Salapupphadāyaka Thera is finished. 140. Piyaññaphaladāyaka. I was one who harmed others then, a harmer of other beings. I rested on a mountain slope, near the teacher known as Siki. In the evening and the morning, I saw the Buddha, the world chief. But I had nothing to give to the biped Lord, the neutral one. Taking a payala fruit, I went into the Buddha's presence. The blessed one accepted it, the world's best one, the bull of men. Thenceforth, for the sake of others, I waited on Siki, the guide, and with that pleasure in my heart, I passed away right on the spot. In the 31 eons since, I gave that fruit to the Buddha. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That is the fruit of giving fruit. In the 15th aeon ago, there were 3 men named Malabi, will-turning kings with great power, possessors of the 7 gems, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Piyaññaphaladāyaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Piyaññaphaladāyaka Thera is finished. The summary, Sobhita and Sudassana 2, Candana, Puppachadaniya, Raho and Campakapupphiya, and with Atthasandassaka, Ekadasi, Saladata, and Phaladāyaka the 10th. By counting there are clearly here 70 verses plus 2 more. The Sobhita chapter the 14th.